Okay, thanks a lot, everyone, for joining. This is Stop Being Boring's podcast series. Thank you, Bob and Bobby, for doing this with us. Before we get into what Bob and Bobby does, we have Aditya with us, and Aditya is going to be playing his sax for like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, as long as he feels and inspired to. And we'll start the evening on that musical note.
Yes. I'm a beginner, and again, I will repeat myself. Sam has pressurized me into playing something, so I'm going to play the easiest piece that I know, which is by a musician called Stan Getz. I love his saxophone. And if it's too loud, then let me know.
Lovely. Awesome. That wasn't rusty.
Well, I've practiced it a few million times.
Nice. All right. Great. So, Aditya is a friend, and he. One day we'll record a podcast with Aditya separately. So, NID designer, information designer, musician, artist, magician, also, as you can see. Yeah, go away.
Podcast is not about me.
No, I mean. No. All right, cool. Thanks a lot, guys. Great. Bob and Bobby, quick thoughts. Did you guys like the music? Hey, you want to see all the...
Absolutely loved it. We totally loved it. Okay, where has the musician vanished now?
Yeah, see? Okay, come here. He's a very, based on looking at your bios, I think all musicians and artists are like this, which is very introverted, don't want to talk to people.
Yes.
Okay.
We know that feel, bro.
Okay, cool. All right, so now the focus is on Bob and Bobby, and thanks, Anvesh, for doing this. So Aditya and I were just going through the questionnaire that you guys had filled. First of all, a lot of insights into what kind of people that you are. And I'm actually grateful that we get to spend at least another 45 minutes to 1 hour trying to understand each other and your thought process, right? So this is more about who you are as people and then what inspires you, because we can clearly see a pattern in the way that your art is coming out. And we can clearly see that it comes from a lot of observations, right? Understanding what people are going through and then putting it into a format that common man can understand. And just to quickly set the context and show people what we are talking about. So this is Bob's Instagram profile.
This is actually Bobby's Instagram profile. Our names are that way. Since I look almost like Bobby, so I'm almost Bobby, and he looks almost like me. He's Bob almost.
Bob almost.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
See, this is pretty simple, right? This is New Zealand's prime minister, and yeah, you can see a pattern, right? Clearly. Anyways, so let's quickly see almost Bobby also. We'll put the Instagram profiles and then you guys can check it out as well. So now the goal is to understand them as people, and then eventually we'll get to their expression, which is the art as well. Okay, so Bob and Bobby, quickly tell us, because in one of the questions you had mentioned that you guys got attracted into moving images, right? So, and then like the failure also, definitely we'll talk about that. But before that, so why moving images? How do you look at moving images as a part of storytelling medium?
So like moving images, what attract us about moving images are like, you if you can put whatever in you can see inside your head for the world to see, there's nothing like it. I mean, the feeling that you have after you have put them out for others to see what you have been imagining all this while. So I mean, that's a very unique feeling that we had, and that's what fascinates us.
And to see actually something that is in your mind, and then to
Right.
get it on paper, and animation is another
The notch
level
higher,
of
yeah.
satisfaction, because once you see it moving, having a life of its own, uh, it's an amazing feeling. That's what actually attracted us.
Lovely. So this is something that we have been trying to capture as well in terms of where different storytelling mediums fall into.
Right.
Can you guys see this clearly?
Yes,
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 yes.
yes.
So like how you correctly said, it always, any expression always originates as a thought, and it's usually in one person's brain. And the moment you want to collaborate, you have to put it down. And you said like you're gonna put it down on paper. Some people put it up directly on a digital note-taking tool, whatnot, right? So that's where network thought comes in. Notes and rough drafts and whatnot. Then it becomes a little more structured. So let's say you're writing a screenplay, then you're going to be talking about which act, which scene, and whatnot, right? And from there, you're adding one more sensory element to that, which is where audio comes in, and then your images, and then comes your moving images. So then you mix and match, right? So you have text and images, it becomes a meme. You have moving images with audio, then it becomes a video. Then you put kind of all these things together, it essentially becomes a product. And we were just, Aditya and I were just talking how a product could be the ultimate storytelling. Okay, maybe that's purely bias coming from techies and like people in the startup world. But if you really look at it from storytelling perspective, it almost uses everything, right? Like, right, and logic as well. So, so moving images, like you can clearly see, a lot of creation effort happens, right? So that's the y-axis on the right corner that you're saying. And then on the left side, the ease of consumption. So from a creator perspective, the more effort that you put in, the easier it becomes for people to consume, right? And which is what you guys have been doing as well. Now, with this as the context, if you want to get to a moving image level, right? And if I'm just a person who doesn't know any of the tools, okay, and I really want to become a better storyteller, right? And I have all these thoughts in my head. What would you tell a person like me who essentially want to get to the level that you guys are at this point in time? What's the process? Like, what's the path that a person like me can take?
So it's better if you have a medium in mind that you want to explore.
Okay.
Like it's better if you're decided that what medium you'd like to tell your story from. Okay, so that way, I mean, it depends on that.
Yeah, I mean,
Primarily,
there's a my elder brother, he likes to uh, express his thoughts, and if he has a story through writing something, and writing either stories or poetries. So we used to perceive the first thing as image, right?
Okay. Visual.
Yeah. So I think it's necessary to first fix your mind on what you want to explore, which medium that you want to explore.
Okay.
It's absolutely okay if you decide to change your mind later on, but you need to start from somewhere. So like for example, for us, we started with sketching.
Okay. Okay.
So and we were not that good with writing, which is why
Not good with words actually.
words
I mean,
actually wordplay, and which is why things we used to express things through images mostly.
and which is why screenplay writing we find a lot easier than story
We are more
writing
comfortable with
with
it because you write in terms of
images. So so it's better if you have a medium in mind. That way it gets easier to approach. So that's the first step. So once you've decided the medium, then we move to how to go about it, how to discover the medium and
explore ourselves. I mean, like we used to sketch a lot, right? And it was mostly like an addiction that we if someone could give us a pen and paper or pencil or anything, we'll just
sit
shut
all day and
ourselves down
sketch.
and sketch all day.
Mm.
So that thing somehow was always there. After a point of time, we started exploring the medium more, and then
we move to moving images like
Yeah.
animation and videos.
Okay. So the interesting thing that I just heard was how you're more interested in screenplay writing than story writing,
Right.
right? Can you expand on that a little bit more? Like why you guys say that?
So like basically screenplay writing is more like writing an image. So and story, you have you have to have some kind of word plays, and you need to
you leave a lot to the reader's imagination, right? And we feel that whenever you're writing the screenplay, you're seeing you're basically showing exactly what you want to show, and all the subtextual things that will happen once it goes onto the screen, onto production. So we were also attracted to this because apart from the image thing, in back in college, and since a very young age, we developed a love for film, and not just watching them. We used to dream of making them as well. So after college and working on projects for animation, we realized that we want to pursue both of the mediums, right? And animation, since mostly we are only the two people working in any project that we take on as of now.
Okay.
So and animation takes a lot of time, right? So so we didn't take up any big project that were animated, but we were planning to make live action films as well. Right. So it works both ways actually. I mean, both have their pros and cons. Like live action film, we used to shoot more live action back in 2015 and 16, 17. Yeah. But then we realized that there's a lot of obstacles that you have to face. Like whenever
if you're shooting outdoor, there will be intrusions, and you can't until and unless you have a budget and a big team, you can't help it. So all our ideas by default used to be indoors after that. And we used to and then we started animating because when you're animating, you have a control over the environment,
right?
And there's no indoor outdoor issues like that.
And actors also, expressions and everything, right?
Everything's in your hand.
So what's the process of creating, like get to that level? of creating an animation movie of like, let's say even 1-2 minutes for that matter?
Yeah, actually, 1-2 minutes is in animation is a lot.
Long time. Yeah. Hmm.
The first thing is you got to sketch. Okay,
Okay.
like you got, if you want your, if somebody wants his or her animation to stand out,
Hmm.
there has to be you have to have a practice of sketching.
Hmm.
And you can always make animations without sketching, but it might show
Mhm.
if you don't sketch enough. So that's what our mentor used to say. Like, he used to say that 200 is a magic number, 200 sketches a day, and it would happen. So 200 is a lot actually, but at least 10 sketches, as in 10 gesture drawings, like very fast human figures, by actually seeing them, or anything, any live object, and sketching them on your paper. So that helps you develop a sense of volume, and it also helps you interpret real things on paper. So
Your way. And
your way.
it's
Most
not
importantly.
necessary that your style needs to be similar to a very somebody who's established already.
But what happens is, when you practice enough, you develop your own style and you get better at it. Okay, and that really helps in animation. So when you're uh, creating a character, you put your signature style on it, and the process becomes faster, and you can figure out things really quickly while animating, when you're practiced enough on sketching.
Mhm. Okay. So sketching is one. So that's obviously, but like, what are the tools that one has to learn? Huh.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. So there's Adobe Photoshop in digital,
Okay.
right? That's the only thing we animate on right now.
Okay.
And there are other softwares as well, like Toon Boom.
Mm.
There's Pencil,
TV Pen,
TV Pen,
and
TV.
open source
and
software like
source softwares like
Open Tunes.
Open Tunes. Yeah.
And
So, and there's also this classical method of lightbox animation,
Mhm.
right? So it's basically a box where you put the papers on, and there's light inside it.
you
There's
see,
this glass layer where you draw it, and there's light underneath it.
Mm.
So you put papers and you can see the previous page. So if the first action is like this and the second action is like this,
Feels like
it's
it's
mostly like a flip book kind of a thing.
right.
Okay.
and
Mm.
also I
So
mean
that's the basic of animation. the
yeah,
flip
and
book.
once you start animating, I mean making animation, and you fail at it, you get an idea of the another important thing, that's the timing and spacing of an
Mm.
object.
Mm.
Like how you can make an object to look that it's traveling faster with fewer frames, and to slow it down with more pictures.
Mm.
So that thing happens once you start off.
Okay.
Like, I mean, like we were animating characters back in. We started animating characters in 2015, and we were, working on a short on a college project where we had to. I had to show an action of picking up a coin, like
Mm.
in that short film. So what I did was I just took video reference of it, and I saw how many frames my the video had
Mm.
of that action picking off a coin.
Mm.
So when I saw that, there were of that exact action, it took around 20 to 25 frames for the action to complete. But
Mm.
when I started animating it, it wasn't, and I thought of giving it the exact frame that I saw in the video.
Mm.
The animation did not look fluid enough. So
Okay.
what I learned from that is when I took around 12 to 10 frames off,
Mm.
the animation was much fluid and soothing to the eyes. So that's exactly what timing and spacing is. That's how you
So I'll just give you an example. Like so if there's consider this an object, like if it goes like this,
Hmm.
so there will be lesser frames.
Mhm.
Suppose you draw a frame over here, you draw a frame over here, and then you
Directly.
draw this one. And if it goes slow
Hmm.
like this,
Hmm.
so you draw a frame over here, you draw a frame over here, then here, you have to draw them all.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then if it goes like this, like slow then fast,
Hmm.
then you have to
It
draw
starts off with more
frames and then get
the frames get less in number.
yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. Lovely. Have you guys seen this movie Loving Vincent?
We have had it in our watch list for a long time, but
Oh.
unfortunately we have not been able to make out time. Yeah.
Okay. Huh. That's okay. Cool.
But
I think
seeing the
that's
trailer,
really
Yeah.
it's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Of course, undoubtedly.
Hmm. Anyway, so coming back, so you guys said you started in 2015. So tell us about your life before that and what kind of inspired you to get to this space.
We actually started animating basic characters before that, around
I was talking
2013.
about
Yeah.
character animation.
Yeah. So our course was bachelor's in multimedia and animation.
Okay.
Bachelor's in multimedia with a specialization in animation. This
Okay.
was BMM in St. Xavier's, Kolkata.
Hmm.
So like our course started in 2000. We started college in 2012, and our first animation assignment was around 2013, right? Yeah. And to see that you draw so many frames, that was a little bit hard, and but to see them come alive after that was it felt like magic
Mm.
the first time.
Yeah, and that's if there is something that can inspire you, that's enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So bachelor's in multimedia and specialization in animation, right?
Yeah.
In Qatar. You said Qatar?
No. St. Xavier's, Kolkata.
Kolkata. Okay.
Kolkata.
Oh, all right. Cool. So, I mean, how did that happen? Like, typically Indian parents are like, why don't you take engineering and stuff like that, right?
Right. There's this interesting story behind that. I mean, not interesting. Like, we messed up royally in joint entrance examinations. So Bobby used to describe that if our ranks were converted into rupees, we could have bought IPL teams. With that.
Same with me. Same.
Oh, same with you. Great.
Mobile numbers.
Mobile numbers. Yeah. So we tried the counseling process, and we didn't get into any good college, and our boards marks were also bad. And we tried getting admitted to we tried filling our applications for as many colleges as we could
in the courses that were most uncommon of the courses,
so that we could get in, but nothing worked out. But there was this entrance exam for this BMM course in St. Xavier's. So we took that, and that was the only college we made it to, and that was only because of the entrance examination. Otherwise we couldn't have got in.
Nice. Okay, so it kind of started like that. All right,
Yeah.
great. Okay, so now let's do the question round thing. You guys can answer separately. Same question, but two answers, right?
Right.
Okay, so with best purchase under rupees 5,000 in the recent past that had a positive impact.
Mine would be this laptop table I bought, because I was struggling to complete my script, and we both of us were having back pains and neck pains as well. So this really helped. The best investment I can think of under 5,000 is this one only.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
And mine, I can say that it's a book called Art Matters by Neil Gaiman. Right. So Neil Gaiman and Chris Reduce. So I think that's the best investment, because whenever I am out of ideas or motivation, it it's a go-to book. So that has been one of the best investments under 5,000 for me.
Lovely. So, can you tell us a little bit about this book and what you learned from this?
Yeah. So Art Matters is by Neil Gaiman, and it's a collection of things that he wrote and that has been published into a book, and with illustrations by the amazing artist called Chris Riddle.
Mm.
So this mostly deals with how art and any kind of art, that can be writing and images, stories, can change the world actually. So it talks about that. It talks about a lot of obstacles that artists can face and how to overcome them.
Mm.
And it's very insightful, and it's inspiring, and and Neil Gaiman has a very different approach to things, which yeah. Okay, so there was a bit- yeah. So I feel Neil Gaiman has this approach to things, and his way of writing is, it feels like that he's talking to you.
Mm.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite authors because of that, because I think I can hear his voice inside my head when I read his books or his writings.
Mm.
So that way it has been very a kind of personal guide to me, right? And it's a very short book, and it's not very it's not a heavy read, but it's brilliant.
It's heavily inspiring.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So Neil Gaiman talks about this imposter syndrome as well. This short story or like some quote about him, right? Like where he's standing in a room, this guy who had like gone to the moon came back, and he's like staying at the last person as in the room. Okay, and Neil Gaiman is giving this talk, and then like someone is talking to him. And Neil Gaiman has this internal feeling that, hey, man, like I feel like such an imposter when there are like so many better artists than me, better writers than me, and like I'm standing here and I'm giving a speech, right? And then he comes out and then like he talks to this guy and like, hey, I'm also Neil, right? And like, okay, so what did you do? And like, man, I did nothing. I just like took one step, right? You know what I mean, right? So this imposter syndrome is something every artist, I mean, every person kind of goes through, right? Like the moment, because it takes a lot of guts to put out also, right? Because we always think that, hey, this could be better. I can shade this better, this wording could be better. But at what point do we think that, hey, this is good enough, I'm going to publish? And that also takes a lot of experience to get to that level and say, okay, this is enough, let's publish, right?
Yeah.
The Neil Gaiman like kind of brought that whole thing. Anyway, so the next question is very important because we all go through this and we all deal with this in different ways. So the question is, one, of course, like you must have faced failure. So if you can think of the first failure that comes to your mind, which in turn set you up for later success, right? Maybe at that point in time, you didn't think that, or like any other thing, right? Like probably your JEE failure could be something, the failure that kind of set you up for later success. Can you think of something like that?
The line sticker contest, actually, I can remember that.
Yeah. So there was this contest going on.
This was back in 2014, end of 2014.
End of 2014, yes.
Hmm.
So it was for it was a sticker making contest for this messenger app called Line, which has probably been banned right now for being a Chinese
Or
app
maybe
called
it's still there.
Fiasco, or maybe it's still there. Yeah. So I mean, we worked a lot for that, and we didn't get selected. So but in the process we learned a lot of things. We'll learn that that particular thing, the stickers have a particular way of there's a particular way of making them. So that thing we learned, and that that was a failure that we remember. And what happened after that is we experimented with styles and different styles and lighting and shading. And after a year, it was probably 2 years, right?
Or after a year,
Uh-huh.
1.5 years.
After 1.5 years, we were uh, you know uh, a person from Hike got in touch with us. Hike
Mm.
manager.
Mm.
So, and she asked us to create stickers for Hike. She
Mm.
came across our work. So that kind of had that setup and payoff of we failing a sticker contest and then a leading messenger platform, because Hike was
Very
pretty
famous
back
back then. Yeah.
Right.
So got they getting in touch with us for making stickers for them. So that's something that,
Very nice. So now you guys work as individual artists and you take up own projects, right? Like that's how you work, or you work for a company?
No. We are totally into freelancing.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. And how many years have you been doing this?
We actually started freelancing back in college only.
Okay.
Like we had our first freelance project in 2015, but we got the payment of that project a year later, and the book we designed never got published.
Hmm.
So it was our first freelance project, but it wasn't, I mean, totally we can't call it a project since it didn't get published.
Ah.
So Hike was our first freelance project, and the stickers were published in 2016.
Hmm.
And after that, from 2017 to 18, we were doing a day job for a company
Hmm.
as graphic designers, both of us in the same company. Then we quit the company together because we had a fallout kind of a thing, because they weren't letting us attend the lit fest, that children's lit fest that we were invited to conduct workshops.
Okay.
So that's when we quit and started freelancing full time.
Okay, lovely. This one is like a fun thing. If you could have this one gigantic billboard with anything on it, metaphorically speaking, of course, right? Which would be watched by millions and billions of people, what would that billboard have as a quote that kind of summarizes you guys, or what you stand for? Individually also you can answer.
Yeah. So mine would be, I don't know if this had particularly been said by someone, but I don't remember. It will be as simple as be kind to each other and celebrate differences. Because it's a very simple thought, and probably the toughest thing to do nowadays.
Yeah.
People are fighting with, based on their ideologies, they're killing each other off. So I think that's, if there's something that I can put up on a billboard, it will be that.
Okay, I just wanted to, I wanted to put be kind to each other, and he added mine as well. So it works like that for us. So so I'll probably, I don't know how I'd put it up in words there, but I would ask people to be feminists, because it's 21st century, and I still see the so much misogynist jokes whenever I'm online. It makes me want to throw up, and I would probably want people to read up on caste and whatever's happening around the world. I'll probably ask them to not be apolitical. Yeah.
Not be apolitical.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Wait. Okay. So let's dial back. What do you mean by, how would you define a feminist? Because a lot of words are being thrown around, right?
Yeah.
How would you define it? Because when you say, I want people to be feminist, what do you mean by that?
See, it's like there are two doctors, one male, another female. So there's both have equal years of experience. Both have saved equal number of patients. So they should be paid equally.
Their job,
Doing their job equally efficiently.
Hmm.
So they should be paid equal amount.
Okay. Hmm. So equal pay and opportunities irrespective of gender.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just one part of it. Like,
Right. Yeah.
mhm.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, we touched upon equal opportunities as well. Okay, good. This now when you say dissent, having an opinion and be more political,
Mhm.
right? Where is that coming from? Because even from the artwork that we see on your pages, it's a lot of dissent um, against the current state, I would say, right? Current state of affairs, right? Not just the political party, but like bureaucracy also, you guys write about that. Institutions. So basically the current state of the world is what your strongest opinions are. And it's usually against, right? So that's why I'm saying it. There's a dissent in the way your art is coming out, right? And why do you think that's happening, and why do you think other people should also follow that? When you say become more political, speak up, put your opinions out, express more, right? That's what you're trying to say. Where is yours coming from? Where is that dissent to the current state of affairs coming from?
Yeah. So we only grew an understanding of the political scenario after college. After college means after we got admitted to college. So it was all because of this professor we had called Kostubre. So and he actually uh, gave us a view of the real world, whatever is happening around us. So things were okay till 2014 and 15, but after that we saw that whatever the news, everything, the political atmosphere, it used to stay restricted inside the television, right? And after a point of time, in probably 2015, I cannot exactly pinpoint where it began, but it started getting into our lives as well, right? Like friends and people from family having a fallout based on their political ideologies, saying things that we didn't expect from them, blatantly expressing their hatred towards a community for no definite reasons.
Right.
And that side we had never seen, like, and it kind of showed that there was a paradigm shift happening in people, in their mindset, right? So, and it struck us as well. And the the frustration, the feeling of helplessness that we felt back then, and it had to be expressed, it had to be put out somewhat. Yeah. So
Right.
and since we couldn't express better through words, it came out as images mostly, from from sketchbook, then to social media and things. So that's how it started.
Okay. So usually the first thing in your mind is a sketch, right? Like you visualize it first, right? For example, if I see that Modi is sitting on this coronavirus graph going up and people are looking at, is that a rocket? This. And then, so I'm assuming that this came as a first thing as an image to you, and then you started writing the story around it, right? Like people seeing, oh, is that a rocket? Or is that this? Right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah. So there's this I know a lot of storytellers and screenwriters also write there's a particular process of story writing. There are a lot there are a lot of process of story writing, but one of them is like you perceive the ending first,
Okay.
right? And then you work it backwards,
Correct.
yeah, to connect the dots.
Okay.
So
that's how we function. For
Mostly.
for a film or a
Mostly even
a
for a
comic.
film, for a screenplay that we're writing, or maybe even if it's a very short comic, we hit the conclusion first, and then we work it backwards.
Oh, very nice. So have you guys thought about like how that conclusion or that final image is getting formed? Like, is it through observation or the things that you're reading?
There are different things, like so there's this film called the 1 minute short film we made called Denied Man.
Okay.
Okay. So it's on Bobby's Instagram.
Mm.
So what happens is I can tell him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's out there. Yeah. So what happens is there's this guy who is a devotee of this government, because
Okay.
there there are more like devotees than supporters.
Oh, Anvesh said that he loved it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anvesh. Uh, yeah. So what happens in that film is like so there's this devotee, and there are three big problems looking at him.
Mm.
One is rising petrol prices. Another is this coronavirus situation. Another is the Chinese intrusion.
Mm.
And he's really scared. So there's this background commentary going on that there's this hostage situation there, and then there's also there's this voice of excitement that says there's another object approaching the scene, and our prime minister lands like a superhero, just
Mm.
like any superhero lands,
Mm.
and then he gets up with glorious background music, and then he instead of walking towards the threats, charging the enemy, he turns towards this devotee and walks towards him, and he's wearing a mask, okay, a face mask for this virus thing, and he walks towards him, and he just puts the mask over his eyes
Mm.
and flies off, and he can't see anything. So that's what he does. Actually, he denies there's a problem. He doesn't acknowledge there's a problem, and everything is fine, and he flies off, and this guy starts dancing
Mm.
like crazy.
Mm.
Okay, like everything is solved.
Mm.
And then this Chinese guy points a gun at him, and that's where the film ends.
Right.
So I'll tell you how this idea came across.
Mm.
I mean, so while sleeping, we often find it hard to get some sleep. So what we do is we put off face masks on our eyes so that it's absolutely dark, and we can't see anything, and it's easier to fall asleep that way. So that's when it struck. That's where the idea came from. So that's
And
one.
then we kind of discussed that how it is relevant to the situations around us.
Mm. Mm.
Like how there's a guy behaving like there's a mask on his eyes.
Right.
Yeah, like everything is fine.
Mm.
Sab changazi, right? So that's how we try to draw an equivalent,
And that's how ideas come to us, like from real life incidents, from an observation, and yeah.
Okay, lovely. Okay. So one last question from me, and after that, like we can open up for community members to ask you questions. So, so two questions, one to Bob and one to Bobby. So one is when you feel overwhelmed, or when you feel like you're stuck somewhere, like things are not happening the way that you want it to happen, what do you do? And the next question is, what are some bad recommendations that people should avoid? Let's say a young and driven, smart college kid just graduating from this multimedia course or whatever. What should that kid avoid in the current industry that you're in? Right. So one is feeling overwhelmed, and when you're stuck, what do you do? And the other thing is, what kind of advice that people should ignore entering your field?
Right. So let's start off with the advice thing.
Yeah, sure.
So like with our experiences, we learned that when someone graduates with graphic design or any design degree, or maybe he's trying to freelance from that stage, there's only one. I think the worst recommendation is like there's a good project, there are names involved, so if there's any implication that you can't be paid, I think that should be avoided, because exposure, like exposure is always used to exploit talented artists, and they should never work for free. Like they should ideally create a portfolio with their best works, and just tell them that, see, this is the kind of work I do, and I'll charge some money. Like
Right.
Even if it's a
Even if
very basic amount.
yeah,
And,
but they shouldn't do things for free.
Okay. Huh.
and for
So this
me,
is pretext
like
that.
I feel that another thing that we got, uh, our mentor told us, like, so there's nothing called bad art,
Mm.
right? So
Whatever works works.
yeah, so the only thing that he said, that whatever works works. So there's this, and he showed us shining examples of animators who were who had styles that if you show it to someone, they will probably not like it. Like this, there's this woman called Mikhaila Pavlatova,
Mm.
right? So she's an animator. I don't know which country she's from, but she's an animator, and the shapes are not very conventional, not the ones that you see in mainstream media, but she is very acclaimed. And it does not matter whether you want to see it as a very postmodern approach to it or anything, you are entertained by it.
Mm.
Right? So if there is anything that can resonate with you, it's that's it. It does not matter the style, or you can develop your own style and be the best that you are at it,
Mm.
right? And it does not need to be it does not need to look like Disney's. Like, it's your own art style.
Right. 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 Mm.
So there's an example, actually. I don't know if you have seen or not. There's this Facebook page called UniV, right? Who makes pretty weird animation. Like, there's blocks and they just talk, and the comic timing is such that you're bound to laugh. Yeah, you're bound to be entertained. So that's how it works. If a thing works, it works. I mean, if your style, if somebody says that your style is bad, you should never mind, and just do what you're doing. So that's one piece of advice. And what was the other question?
The when you feel overwhelmed or when you're stuck creatively,
Yeah.
what do you do?
So so what I do is, I look back at our journey so far,
Mm.
like, and there are moments, no matter where you are or how far you have come, there will be moments that will lift you up,
Mm.
that are bound to lift you up. So be it an act of kindness or a message of appreciation from someone or a complete stranger. It works a lot at times, saying that it helps you understand that you are not only defined by these moments. I mean, the moments where you're feeling down.
Stuck. Huh.
So that has helped me a lot.
Okay.
And what about you?
Somewhat same. Like, I often keep a record of the appreciations of our art,
Mm.
so that you can. I mean, it can lift me up in the future if the need be.
Right.
I watch interviews of people, preferably those where they talk about this, their struggles, internal and externals.
Mm.
And I also do one thing, like I try to be kind to a stranger.
Mm.
That like it can be as simple as appreciating someone's artwork,
Mm.
like, and I genuinely observe, and it's not like I just appreciate it just for the sake of it. I genuinely observe and go through their works and appreciate them,
Mm.
and it feels good. It
Okay.
feels better. Yeah.
Lovely. So one is acknowledging, and the other is being kind to people. Definitely.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that also starts with being kind to yourself and your own art,
Mhm.
and having a log of the appreciation that you have received. So how do you take screenshots of your Instagram appreciations or DMs, and then you store it?
I do that often.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have this. I often take screenshots if there are mails, text, and I just write it down, because I feel that that's something uh, which feels more rewarding than anything else, because we have seen it
firsthand before we were we shifted completely into art, because our mother is a teacher, right? And she's been teaching for the past 30 35 years. And to be very honest, uh, she hasn't uh, her job is not a very well paid one,
Mm.
like a simple private school in Bengal, and it's not anything fancy. But I have seen that she has she has been to a doctor's chamber, and the doctor comes out and he touches her feet and says in front of the other patient that she's like my mother. I wouldn't have been here if it was not because of her.
Mm.
So I mean, that's something that we felt, that that feeling is, it transcends everything.
Mm.
So, and we kind of had that feeling when when we saw that our art had resonated with people, with complete stranger, and they just acknowledged it and said that thanks for expressing what we failed to.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So that has been very uplifting, and we love to keep going back to that, and we are genuinely thankful to people for that.
Lovely. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot. This has been wonderful. Like, I really learned a lot. Like this appreciation thing, like never really thought about it that way. Like, because at that moment you're like, huh, okay. Because usually the appreciations come in a bunch, right? Like you have done something really nice, and then like there are too many people appreciating, and then yeah. And then you go away with that, and then like never took time to come back and see those things.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Actually,
And we also do a thing that works wonder at times. We genuinely try to not be harsh at people who are critiquing us or even abusing in the comments.
Hmm.
So there used to be this person who used to constantly keep trolling and abusive comments under a post. So I once checked his profile out, and I saw that that guy sings brilliantly. So I mean, under one of his abusers, I appreciated and acknowledged his singing talent. And then all of a sudden he started referring to me as bhai,
Hmm.
right? And so I think there's so much hatred ingrained in people right now, that when they are when you respond back with kindness
Hmm.
or an appreciation, they are taken aback, and
Right.
they probably at that moment they probably realize that it's very unnecessary,
Hmm.
right? So that has worked pretty very in a wonderful way for us.
Lovely. Too many times the kind word has been thrown around today, which is good. You know, not many people talk about these things nowadays. Anyway, great. Thanks a lot for doing this. And now I know I didn't ask a lot of technical questions like specific to art and stuff, which I'm sure like people over here are gonna ask, because like I can see from the kind of people who are like here. Okay, guys, if you have any questions to Bob and Bobby, do you have any questions?
I have one question.
Huh.
So my question is that I know there are a very few artists who are activists. You know, I see you guys as activists. There's Arijit Singh. I know that you can't really place a finger on what makes you do activism. You know, what makes you keep at it. But how is what really? I mean, what is the core like? I mean, I'm curious. Just what's your day like? How do you?
Observe.
No, I mean, so that of course,
Huh.
but also that this work that you would create, right? The activism work that takes time. It takes time to sort of
Process.
arrive at the place where it does and creates an impact. And it's not paid work, and you continue to be at it. So how do you keep yourself motivated? What is it that really keeps you at it? That's the question.
So like first of all, I don't know. I don't consider consider myself an activist because we don't do much of a groundwork. We try to amplify the groundworks that are happening.
Mm.
I don't know if it would be fair to call ourselves activists. But about the thing that you said, like there are things that move us, and we can't focus on the work that we are doing unless we express
Unless
our
we put
reaction,
it out on
put
paper.
it out
yeah,
on paper. Yeah, unless we unless we illustrate our reaction to it, we can't focus on the work that is paying us. So we try to do is try to do it as quick as possible. Also we try to uh, try to make it look acceptable uh, in terms of looks and visuals. Yeah.
And the motivation is, it's like just like he said that we cannot focus on our daily things, and there has been times like we have pending client works and we saw this thing turn up in our head, and we just need to make something out of it, and then we see that the client is also appreciating, knowing that his work is pending. So we kind of feel very embarrassed, and we're like, yes, we are doing your work as well. So without them asking for it.
So the motivation is to get this thing out,
Yeah.
that you can get on with the
Yeah.
paid projects.
Yeah, do your bit, I guess. That's also there, right?
Mm. Ah.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I see it as that I'll do whatever I can, fight the good fight, whatever I can.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so Samantha, you want to ask, or you want me to read it out? Okay. So of course, this is from Savanthi. Of course, I love your work. Kindness and appreciation is so important. My question, since you guys think visually, if you had to visually depict confidence, which vegetable would you use?
Would you choose and why?
Would you choose and why? Confidence, vegetable.
Confidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know if there's any metaphor here, but I think I would choose obviously Gobi, because I mean confidence. Yes. Since confidence is mentioned, I think I'll choose Gobi because there's this comedy group called Aisi Taisi Democracy who refers to our Prime Minister as Gobiji. So he has a lot of confidence. He lies with so much confidence and he denies with so much confidence. So since confidence is mentioned, I'll go with Gobi. Yeah, I don't know what you would go with.
Yeah.
I mean, after you said that, it's kind of I mean, I will be going with Gobi as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for orange.
Orange,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
orange,
yes.
yeah.
Orange too. Yeah.
The fruit also.
Yeah. It's a fruit, a color that invokes so much of misplaced passion.
no, this is the right answer.
Okay, cool. Any other questions? So meanwhile, Vivek, do you want to quickly explain your story in like less than 1 minute?
Hi guys.
Hello.
You can turn on your video as well, like we can see you.
Oh, wait a second.
Lovely. Yeah.
Is it visible? Yeah. Hi. It was a nice conversation, like hearing you guys and your journey as artists. It was very good. And the animation, 1 minute animation video you made up with the current scenario, that was very interesting. I'll go back and check on our Instagram page. Okay, so we are making this short film about the artist's life. So we wrote it as a live action film, but we were busy on some other projects and we had to keep it aside. But because of the current pandemic situation, everything has stopped, and we went back and started reading the script again and discussing, and we thought animation could be a better medium for the script.
Right.
I think Vasishtha is the best person to explain the story because he wrote it. He's also in the call. Vasishtha, can you give them a narration about the story, like synopsis story?
Yeah, abstract.
Yeah. Vasishtha?
You're muted, Vashta. If you're here. Sebanti, meanwhile, what would you choose? The vegetable for courage or confidence? Since you asked the question. Ladies finger. Ladies finger.
Hello.
Yeah, Vashta.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Hi, Vasishtha. Hi, Vasishtha.
Hi. So synopsis is, I'll tell you the synopsis. Here it is. A light-hearted story of an artist who struggles to fit in an imperfectly perfect world and his friendship with a rat. So I'll explain it a bit more. He finds it very difficult to communicate with people who call themselves normal. He loves Spanish and is obsessed with it. So he talks in Spanish with the rat. Rat is his only friend. He thinks being normal is abnormal because everyone is mad in some or the other way and all they do is hide their real self. Like everyone else, his parents also think he has gone mad and worried about him. One day he meets a girl unexpectedly who is as mad as him, and for the first time he feels someone treats him as a normal guy just like his rat does. That's a synopsis.
Right. Great.
And the girl speaks what language?
Mandarin.
Sorry?
Yes.
Yeah.
The girl speaks Mandarin.
Oh, the girl speaks
Yeah.
Mandarin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it's a guy, Indian guy, obsessed with Spanish and Spanish culture. Has this rat or who's his friend, and he talks to the rat in Spanish. And then this guy feels that anyone who is normal is abnormal. And then he's searching, stumbles upon this girl who he thinks is very abnormal. So they are able to connect. So she treats him like the rat treats this guy, right? But she speaks Mandarin. Okay, so then the story continues like that. So this is their story, and we were thinking of doing a fundraiser to get this story up and running. And so that was the bigger context under which we wanted to actually bring you guys on board as well.
Right.
What do you guys think of the story? How do you go about it?
I mean, it's a bit the premise is pretty interesting. It kind of reminds me of a Shontan. I don't know if you have heard of this an artist called Shontan. Just a second. I'll just...
It's writer.
Yeah. So there's this book called Tales from Outer Suburbia. Right? It's by Sean Tan.
Okay.
So what Sean Tan does is he's a brilliant artist and an author. So he tells stories like that. I mean, with an alien living very normally with people in it's kind of magic realism, right? And you can read this book for ideas as to how you think you can develop the story, how it ends, how it concludes. So based on that you can think of the treatments that can be incorporated with it best. So I think it's a perfect story for animation.
Lovely. Okay, so we'll continue talking about that. So what we are planning is to do a crowdfunding of sorts to fund the project as well.
Right.
Okay. so based on your availability, based on how much you would charge, and like if we are able to afford it, we'll take this project ahead from there. Okay.
Yeah.
But the premise looks good. Like even we were very excited to even hear the premise, right?
Yeah.
Then what you do with that premise, of course, like depends a lot on. We have to delve deeper into the script. But yeah, so yeah, Vivek, Vashit, will be in touch, and we'll start a mail thread. We'll keep this going, and then let's see how quickly we can get there in terms of like really getting it out there, right? Yeah, okay. Any final thoughts about animation, or like people who are watching? Like what's the takeaway for people?
I mean, we so enjoyed this a lot. Talking about
Our
the
process,
things,
yeah,
our
journey.
process, and I mean, we are always open to sharing the techniques and the process that we have been through. Because back when we were starting off, we used to text and inbox anybody who we thought, because we didn't have anyone who was in this field,
Right, right.
and we were also not financially stable enough to get ourselves admitted into a college
Institutions like NIT.
Ah,
Yeah.
So we used to get in touch with people randomly,
On
and
Facebook.
on other any other apps, maybe. Yeah, Skillshare, or
Yeah.
not Skillshare,
Not-
skill pages.
Uh-huh.
So and they have been, some of them have been very kind to us without knowing us. We were complete strangers. I feel that they actually did it because they loved that medium as well, and they loved talking about it, and they had always appreciated people taking up that medium, people telling more stories.
Hmm.
So in that way, we have been trying to be of some help to anyone who approaches us with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who are starting out, or who are trying to explore the medium.
right.
So that way we really enjoyed this session a lot.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Also, you can like Anvesh will reach out to you guys about this. So we do something called facilitator series, where people with knowledge and experience come and teach our community certain skills. So you can like have like this 1.5 hour session where you can like literally
Absolutely.
take our people through the process, right? And including the tool as well. Okay, that's a very interesting question by Asa. Can you give some advice to increase visual creativity?
Uh,
Hmm.
I think what helped us really is we observe a lot.
Okay.
Observe as in like we observe how people react to things, if they have any kind of what do you some kind of anything, like if they have any kind of OCD, like it's best to keep your eyes and ears open, and stories would just come to you, like it's happening all around us.
People reactions to certain things which
Things.
are norm. We believe that if you shut yourself down and observe or listen, then you can see that there are countless stories happening around you. And also another thing that, again, this was from Neil Gaiman.
Hmm.
So he says that to tell a story, or to think something visually, you just need to add a what if before everything.
Hmm.
Like, and you can insert an object which is not there and then justify it and then work it backwards. Like, for example, if I right now I am sitting in this room and I just scan this entire room, maybe scan the books around me, and then I see this word dinosaur on a book, and then I have I have two words, room and a dinosaur, and I just make up a story where a dinosaur suddenly turns up in my room,
Hmm.
right? And then justify how it turns up.
Hmm.
So that way one can.
And also, like so our mentor used to tell us that there are extraordinary stories in ordinary places. So like you can start with your family member, probably just observe your mom or your brother or any family member that is near you for a day, and you know, try to get a trait that attracts you, that you think would work good in a story, or maybe try to exaggerate a trait that is there.
Right.
Yeah. So that's more or less the process.
If we take an example like another thing is that we think words in terms of visuals. Like we have a lot of us have heard this, that the graph is soaring high.
Hmm.
Yeah, dreams soaring high.
Hmm.
So the graph is it's going it's taking a sky high limit,
Hmm.
something like that. So that thing came into my mind, and then I thought of placing this man on the graph,
Yeah.
flying to the sky.
Hmm.
So that's how we also visualize things.
Turn words into images.
We turn words into words.
Literal. Literal imagination of the word. Okay, great. Very nice.
I
Cool.
hope that answered your question. Like, if you want to know anything more or specific, you are free. Please feel free to write it down there.
Yes. Just to follow up to the lady's finger, in Bengali we call it
Dhadosh.
which
Dhadosh. It's called dhadosh.
say it again.
Dhadosh. Dhadosh.
Dadosh.
Dhadosh. Yeah.
Dadosh. Okay. Which refers to someone who doesn't have it together. Okay. Irony. What, Malini, you have a question? Go.
Me, I am that.
Oh, you are that. Okay. No. But the point was, initially it was talked about as a representation of confidence. Maybe that's also true. Internally, you don't have it together, so you expel confidence outwardly. I don't know.
No, dhadosh is also a very light cuss word in Bengali.
Okay.
Right? It's not in the range of all the filth that's there, but it's a light cuss word in Bengali where you describe someone who is probably dumb, a bit dumb. You call them dhadosh.
Okay. Dadosh. Lovely. Cool. Anvesh, do you want to give the final thank you note? This was really a pleasure. Like, it didn't feel like 1 hour at all.
Same here.
Anvesh disappeared. Okay. Problem with this internet. All right. Thanks a lot, guys, for doing this. And we'll produce this into like one full-length video, audio, then a blog as well. And we'll send it to you guys for approval before we publish it. All right. And then think about the other thing which I said. Two things to think about. One is the animation movie based on what Vivek and Vashit have shared. And the second one is the session for our team, because for people who are starting out, if we can do like a series of sessions, over a period of time. And we also do like a lot of co-creation. So it's a continuous learning as well, right?
Right.
So it's not like you come, give a talk and you go away. We use that learning to create something as well.
Right.
Yeah.
More like a workshop, like a thing.
Yeah, more like a workshop kind of a thing. Yeah. If you can think through that, we can help you structure it, and then we'll do that. All right. Okay. Any other final thoughts?
I have one thought, and I'm leaving. That's why I'm putting in this thought. It was really lovely to meet you guys.
Same here.
Thank you so much.
Guy who played
We would like to hear you play that thing again someday.
Okay, I'll put something on my Instagram one of these days.
Sure.
We'll be looking forward.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
So, all right. Thanks a lot, guys. And
Thank you.
thank you. Lovely talking to you.
Everyone.
Good night, everyone. It was lovely
Thank you so
talking.
much.